I've come to understand my own view of the role of education. It's not job training. It's not to acquire certain skills so you're employable. I think a good education is one that will develop you into the fullest human being you can become, and also a citizen of a community, a town, a state, a country, of the world. And the community here and the education, the curriculum, the whole approach is geared toward that. It's not so students emerge with a set of skills to make them employable, although that is a natural byproduct as well. Everything they do here is addressed toward making them a fuller human being. And I think the easiest thing to point to in that regard is that music, drama, dance, art in general is given the same status as mathematics and English. In other words, equally high priority. And I think that is the single most valuable thing, along with working with your hands, woodworking, all the outdoor education, all lend themselves toward developing full human beings and citizens. And that's what we've seen in our own son, who was here preschool through 8th grade, and what we're seeing in our daughter now, who's in 7th grade.
I found Waldorf education in 2009 for our son Leo, and I went to this mother's group where they were doing presentation of several schools around here. And I remember hearing about the Waldorf, and a little bit at that time I didn't know what Waldorf was, but I just heard a little bit that they play with toys from nature, that they spend a lot of time outdoors. And so it was a friend of mine, she told me, she said, I'm sending my children to that school. And so I came for a tour, and that's how it all started.
When she told me about it, and the first thing I learned about it was that as preschoolers, they go outside every day, spend a good part of the day outside, rain or shine. And I said, that's it, that's all I need to know.
I liked it so much, and I was always interested, I was always volunteering, and I did study to be an early childhood teacher in Brazil.
We came here thinking of preschool, maybe kindergarten, we'll see, and ended up staying for the whole preschool, kindergarten, and 1st through 8th grade with our son and now our daughter, who's in 7th grade.
I remember going to see other schools, and then, of course I compared, and I walked inside a public school kindergarten, and I remember seeing all the letters on the wall, and the floor had letters and colorful and computers, and right away it just didn't feel right. Once you know what it's great, you don't want to settle for less. So I knew I wanted to continue here. Here feels like my second home. It's my second home. Not just because I work here, but even before, because I was here so much. And especially for us not being from here, we have our family that are now our family that we met through the school.
For a rigorous education, which this is, academically challenging and rigorous, one thing as a parent that I really appreciate is that it didn't bring undue levels of stress or hectic climate to our home. It sounds simple, but it's very important, is how something like homework is managed. It's not indiscriminately piled on by teacher after teacher, and at a young age kids are slogging through hours of homework each night. It's not that at all. It's managed very well. There is homework, but it's purposeful, it's meaningful, it's never busy work, and so that had a very positive impact on the household.
They do a lot of practical work here. It's starting in preschool. The children help wash the bowls and chop the vegetables, and I think that gives them a sense of gratitude.
For parents who are considering a school like this, I do recall some of the questions, even qualms, that I had, that I was curious to see how it would play out, and now I have the benefit of hindsight. And one of those is having a class teacher with a class from 1st to 8th grade. That sounds wonderful if it works, but you could imagine all the ways it wouldn't work. Our son in particular had just a master teacher, just a wonderfully gifted professional teacher, wonderful human being that I'll always be grateful that he had as a teacher from 1st to 8th grade. And it worked. She knew our son so well, as she did all the students in her class. And so by the time it got to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, she was pushing our son in what she understood. When if he turned in work that she knew he could do more and could do better, she would push him. It was tailored to him and him alone. And she would push his classmates in their own ways, where she knew everyone's strengths and where a student needed that push. That would have been very difficult for a teacher walking into, say, for example, 7th grade in the first week to know students like that, but she did. And that was a byproduct of having the class from 1st to 8th grade. That was wonderful.
At the end of the graduation, he actually wrote her a note and said, "Thank you for pushing me." He recognized that because she knew him so well, that he could do better, and he did better, and he felt good about himself.